Thank you, Gina. So our next two speakers, they're competing on a single team. You may know one of them as the co-founder of BuzzFeed and Huffington Post. The other from his epic year-long show called The Show, and now his new startup called StarMe. Please welcome Jonah Peretti and Zay Frank.
Really nice to meet you. Hi. What? Sorry about that. It's a little angry-making. Andy invited Jonah and I here to talk about projects that we had launched over the last year, and only today did we find out it was called Worst Websites Ever. And in full disclosure, you invest in my company, so I can't really be part of this competition.
Some of the funds from that investment went to these projects.
That's right. How many of you guys experienced Unter Twitter? Any of you? Unter Twitter basically was a Twitter client which alerted you when Twitter kicked off your favorite Twitter clients from their service. Unfortunately, we were kicked off in the very first week that we launched. But Twitter did push a feed for their own client as the last tweet in our feed.
So then we pivoted to something else totally different after that.
So you heard about LifeWinner. I have to say, I have a fundamental problem with that business model. Runner-Upville was a lot more concise. Basically, the idea is that there's a lot of these socially gamified systems that reward you for doing great things. We figured if there is a kind of dopaminergic, awesome feeling for doing these things, why not just get to them first? So it's called Runner-Upville. Basically, we sense when you're about to win something, and then we give you a reward for almost getting there. Fully integrated with all of the APIs from all of these systems. Anything to add?
No.
Awesome.
That one is already profitable and is running. So then we decided to do something else.
So there is something called a virtual pet cemetery, but these virtual pet cemeteries are full of shit. Because they're virtual cemeteries for your real pets. This is a virtual cemetery for your virtual pets that you neglect in virtual spaces. So the deal is, it's free, right? You can bury any of your virtual pets underground for free. A week later, you're notified that unfortunately maggots have started infesting the rotting corpse of your pet, and you can either e-bomb them or upgrade to a crypt, both of which unfortunately are infested by another kind of worm. Also profitable.
Yeah, we were amazed at how much the maggots upset people.
A/B testing. This is a concept called Craigslist Mechanical Turk, and it's actually how we created this entire presentation. Craigslist Mechanical Turk is fairly simple. A client has some sort of a design request. Craigslist Mechanical Turk places a whole bunch of ads on Craigslist for amazing, amazing jobs.
So it's important that the jobs have really good benefits, good salaries, but also let people work with interesting technologies and are at hot startups or cool companies.
Yeah.
And so you need people to be really motivated, because the next step...
Right. So people see these job postings and they're like, this is awesome. And right at the bottom it says, because we get a lot of spam on Craigslist, can you please just do this quick little design challenge? So what we do is we cut up the big project overall into small chunks. Like, for example, if you were a small coffee shop in Phoenix, Arizona, called the Tea Leaf, what would your logo look like? Do a quick pass. And then, since that's a PHP-generated page, we just replace it with the next one where we show that logo and we say, please criticize this logo and suggest better suggestions, and it goes forward until eventually you have the entire project done. That's Craigslist mechanical turk.
One thing to keep in mind is you all realize that the anticipation of a new job is a lot more exciting than any job you actually get. So it actually is good for the users as well, because they get excited about the job and they do some interesting work. And once you actually get the job, it usually sucks anyway. So it just takes that whole part of having the job out of the equation.
Yeah. Bhutan is run on gross national happiness, and that's part of this equation. So, for us, we look at the landscape and we say, where are users asking us to find solutions for them?
We basically look for financial opportunities where other people don't see them and take advantage of them.
For good.
For good, yeah.
So this is called FUCK. Fully utilized Creative Commons. And the trick here is in a place like Flickr, you can search the photographs, and you can search with very, very narrow specificity. For example, only search within Creative Commons licensed content for things where the user has opted in to have these images used commercially. And to me, that's a request, right? Basically, they're saying, do something with this crap.
And what's sad is so many people upload Creative Commons images and allow commercial use, and then nobody uses them commercially. And those people must be very disappointed that they're putting their work out there to be used commercially, and nobody even takes advantage of that opportunity.
So we typed mom into the search field for Flickr, and it turns out a lot of people want their moms used for something commercial. These are people who have outlived their reproductive use on this planet. Just a statement of fact. And now they're saying, we want our moms to give something back even more. So these are literally people who take pictures of their mom and then check a box that says, use this for commercial purposes. So we came up with the MILFs of Flickr.
And so what shocked us about this is that the calendar sold remarkably well, but we kept getting complaints from people that their mom was in the calendar, and it was completely confusing because, they wanted us to use the pictures commercially, and this was the one commercial use that actually we could find for the images, and yet some of them were still upset.
So we're releasing a whole chain on fetishes, so that's coming out soon. We have feet and beards in the works. Thank you very much.
All right. So our next speaker, you may remember him from Color Wars, which he worked on with Zay Frank. He is an extraordinarily talented engineer now working at Etsy. Please welcome from New Jersey.